in the trash. This kind of bread, think about it. What is yeast? Yeast is a bloody fungus, my friend. So what happens if you make pizza dough with yeast in it, or you make bread with yeast in it? You know, what is making the dough rise the way it's rising? They say, well, this is a chemical process and the yeast is digesting the sugar and the carbohydrates, which is, if you add sugar to yeast dough, you know, it's kind of like growing faster. But what is really happening is the fungi, the yeast fungi, is using the sugar and the carbohydrates to grow through the dough. And this is then, I believe, what you call a mycel, which is kind of the structure of the mushroom that is underground. I think so, right? I'm not 100% sure. It's just what I remember of whatever it was. And one reason I didn't want to go there today and film myself, because I've done it already. But, you know, repetition, repetition, repetition. You know, if I've done it already, I can do it again. I have no idea what the outcome will be. You know, I feel like I've probably already walked for more than half an hour, and this is really fast. I like it. The coffee helped me. It's just like, doot, 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 doot. You know, I'm filming myself and I'm talking about shit. And I cannot, because there's so much knowledge that you may call wisdom. That's a fly agraric. But yeah, it's better to not pick them on the side of the road. But I know they're growing now, because it rained a lot and now it's getting hot again. Which means, right, if I want to work with them, which you can do if you want to, you know, it's not about giving it to others, it's just, you know, trying it yourself. And I believe you can do so. So, you know, I'm not telling people to do it, because what you always have to realize that, you know, just like changing your diet or your habits, it's very hard to work with mushrooms on your psyche, on your emotions. It can help you, but it certainly packs a lot of homework, emotional homework. So it's also something that takes some kind of preparation. You know, you can read into this. I don't know, you know, it's not like, I'm not telling people to do this. I'm just saying that I've done it and that I am also preparing myself to do it again, and that's all I can say about it. I also, yeah, have experiences with smoking it, which I fairly liked at the time. And but it's also really hard to say what that really does. It opens a portal, that much is clear to me, to the underworld, you know, which is the realm of the shaman, where he can converse and communicate with spirits. And I'm basically doing that the whole time. And to most people this will, again, sound like a whole lot of bogus, but this is the reality of my life. I mean, what do you think shamans do? What do you think they do when they're alone in the forest for long periods of time? You know, at the moment my forest is my apartment, where I can seclude myself from the outside world and I can do the work that I came here to do. And I can focus on that and push things through to the next level. And that's also what shamans do. You know, they get messages, and there's all kinds of different shamans, right? There's shamans that do ayahuasca, there's shamans that do mushrooms, there's shamans that take rapé, there's shamans that do other kinds of things. And I would generally advise people that if you don't want to follow a shamanic career, which is a hell ride, so if you don't have this kind of, you know, I really want to know what life is about, you know, I want to dive into this shit and take it apart and just look for whatever is making me depressed and heavy, you know, then you could think about trying this. But you don't have to. I mean, there's shamans that use flagellation as a tool to enlighten, have visions, and to communicate with spirit. Paida la jinn, you know, flagellation sounds very bad. Paida la jinn, P-A-I-D-A-L-A-J-I-N. Paida means, I believe, slapping, and la jinn means stretching. Sometimes I'm doing slapping, you know, which is like, do this for 5 minutes and she will get like very dark blots, and this is energetic cleansing, which brings us to the next phase of I cannot, for the love of it, try to structure these talks. And the reason is so simple. It's too much. I mean, it's too much. You know, I'm overflowing with things that I want to say, which is when I spend time with people, all I want to do is talk, keep the conversation going at all times. So if I get too quiet, you know, I sometimes do things, you know, okay, what is this? What am I feeling? What am I doing? What's my next mission? I'm restless 24/7 basically. And sometimes I feel like, you know, whatever I'm hearing is a little bit too much. You know, it's too much at once. It's trying to get to me with too much force. And what am I doing then? Well, I can tell you, I'm retreating. I'm retreating. And I smoke a cigarette because it relaxes me, and it also, you know, tobacco has the quality of connecting to your ancestors. But now think about it. If you connect to your ancestors, who are you connecting to? Some people, they smoke tobacco and they get very angry or very paranoid. Yeah, why? You know, just think about it. Let's say there's your grandfather, because tobacco is the masculine element and cannabis is more like the feminine. You know, I've picked up on these things by paying attention. What happens when I smoke it? How do I feel? You know, what's doing what? And so when you smoke pure cannabis, it's making you incredibly high and like, a bit soft. If you add tobacco to the mixture, it's like, a bit more like grounded. You know, a bit more mellow. Some people want to chill a bit more, and then they're just sitting around. And now think about it, you're smoking, and let's say down the ancestral line of heritage, inherited karma, if that exists, inherited whatever, there's like a very angry grandfather that people are holding on to because, you know, they've heard the story and they feel that he's there, and they feel like it's unjust what happened to him. And then if I smoke tobacco, it might be that I connect to this, and then it might be that I start picking up on some of the habits that this person had. And that means, holy moly,